Okay, hi, my name is Mikee Inton. I'm from the Philippines. I'm a member of the Society of Transsexual Women of the Philippines, and we are currently the Transgender Secretariat for ILGA World. Um, what made me become an activist really is this idea of oppression and how it's very personal. So I have a personal stake in all of this activism because I see myself and my friends in the Philippines and many people who are trans around the world being discriminated against and oppressed on various levels. STRAP is primarily a support group. What we do is every month we meet, we come together and catch up. A few years ago, we started doing some seminars and some training sessions during our support group meetings. Recently, we were talking about ideas of intersectionality and how intersectionality can be used in activist work. We've also been lobbying and pushing and dialoguing with politicians on the local level to try to push for the anti-discrimination law and the gender identity law. For ILGA, our vision at STRAP is two things. First is to strengthen the trans caucus, the regional trans caucuses, to provide a way where trans activists can come together and talk about their issues and try to decide which directions, which strategies work best for certain regions. The other one is we're working on a trans terminologies project. And it's important to emphasize that this is not ILGA's work alone. We're working with other organizations around the world. The Trans Terminologies Project is basically a list and a short write-up of the terms, the local terms used to refer to trans or trans-like people. It's basically an effort to try to see how the concept of trans translates around the world and how local identities embody the transgender concept. The situation in the Philippines is very weird. Um, I get a lot of comments from people outside the country, especially those in the Western contexts. They keep saying that we're very visible. There are so many trans people in the Philippines. So it kind of leads to that perception that we're accepted by society, which is completely wrong. At most, visibility is tolerance. Um, we have a very long and very rich history of gender crossing in the Philippines from pre-colonial times. Um, but through colonization, we had 350 years of Spanish Catholic rule and another 50 years of American modernization. Through colonization, trans identities were constantly tried to root, or they were tried to, they were suppressed, basically. Um, so despite the fact that we are everywhere in the Philippines, we do not have laws that protect us from discrimination. For example, a trans person who goes to a Catholic school will not be able to perform the gender that they identify with because of uh, school uniform rules, for example. Especially if it's a Catholic private school, it's very difficult to touch. But even in public school settings, trans people are usually forced to conform to the gender with which they were assigned at birth. So the solution to that would be to pass a nationwide law against discrimination based on the social principles. There is a bill that has been languishing in Congress for the last 16 years, and we tried to engage politicians, senators and congressional representatives to try to pass the law, but we've had very little progress. Another solution to that would be to pass the gender recognition law, which allows trans people to change their documents and express themselves freely based on the gender that they identify as and not based on their sex assignment at birth.